From the swirling black nova of sucking the life out of baseball that is Rob Manfred's office, this is Kurt Berglund with another episode of Pine Tar Baseball. Introducing the 1990s set, and that set includes these teams that you see in front of you here. The 1992 Athletics, the 1992 Braves, the 1992 Pirates, the 1993 Tigers, the 94 Expos, the 94 Yankees, the 95 Indians, the 93 White Sox, the 98 Cubs, and the 99 Mets. Available in the Teams of the 90s set at ttlbaseballgame.com right now. ttlbaseballgame.com right now. All right. Tonight, we have a showdown between two of the American League teams in the set, and they are the 1992 Oakland Athletics winners of the American League Western Division, losers of the American League Championship Series to the Toronto Blue Jays and Tony La Russa's last playoff team in Oakland. In Cleveland at the Jake, taking on the 1995 Indians, American League East champs, and American League pennant winners. They ultimately lost in the World Series in 6 to the Atlanta Braves. Tonight, the 92 Oakland Athletics against the 1995 Atlanta Braves. The 1995 Cleveland Indians. The opposing pitchers for Cleveland, the homestanding Cleveland Indians, right-hander Ken Hill. You can see his rating is an A, and then the third time through the order, it remains an A. Ron Darling is on the mound for Oakland. You can see his road pitching is a C, and then the third time through the order and subsequent trips through the order, he will be a D. Ken Hill has a modifier of a walk on 77, and he can go 6 innings as his basic number. He can add to that. Darling has a modifier of 77 strikeout and a basic inning of 6, which he can also add to. Let's look at the lineups for the Oakland Athletics. Leading off in left field is Rickey Henderson. Batting second at third base is Jerry Brown. I'm sorry, he's at second base. Second base is Jerry Brown, the governor. Batting third in right field, Ruben Sierra. Batting fourth, the DH, Harold Baines. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Mark Mcgwire. Batting sixth, the catcher, Terry Steinbach. Batting seventh, the center fielder, Willie Wilson. Batting eighth, the third baseman, Carney Lansford. And batting ninth, the shortstop, Mike Bordick. That is the lineup for Oakland tonight. For the homestanding 95 Cleveland Indians, their lineup goes like this. In center field, it's Kenny Lofton. Leading off. At shortstop, batting second, Omar Vizquel. At second base, batting third, Carlos Baerga. Batting fourth, cleaning up, Albert, don't call me Joey or anything else, Bell. Batting fifth, Manny Ramirez in right field. Batting sixth. Oh, I think I flipped him. Yes, I did flip him. Batting fifth is Eddie Murray, the designated hitter. And then batting sixth will be Manny Ramirez in right field. Batting seventh, third baseman Jim Thome. Batting eighth, first baseman Paul Sorrento. And batting ninth, the catcher Sandy Alomar Jr. All right, there's your lineups. We're ready to go in Cleveland. Ricky Henderson getting into the batter's box and leading off. And here we begin with a strike three swinging on some Ken Hill gas. That's one down in the top of the first. Jerry Brown, the governor, coming to the plate. Nobody out. I'm sorry, one out. And Brown draws a walk. That's ball 4. And he's aboard with one out. Ruben Sierra stands in. One-time phenom with the Rangers. Still a pretty good player, pretty good career. Move these down a little bit for you. The pitch is hit in the air to left field. This one is going to be taken by Albert, Don't Call Me Joey Bell, and that's 2 down. Harold Baines stepping to the plate with 2 outs, the last gasp maybe in this inning for Oakland. The pitch is lined. A base hit to right field. Brown stops at second. There'll be runners at first and second for Mark Mcgwire. First baseman for LaRussa's A's. 2 outs, 2 on. Brown at second, Baines at first. The pitch is ball 2. Mcgwire's ahead in the count. 2 balls, no strikes. And now that's ball 4. Mcgwire takes his base. We are loaded in the top of the first for Oakland, but there are 2 outs. Terry Steinbach steps in. He hit .279 in 1992. And he had an on-base percentage of .345. Pitch to Terry is a 19, and that is a looper that's going to get over Ken Hill's head. Bounce 3 times before Vizquel can get there, and Terry Steinbach has himself an infield hit that drives in a run. Terry Steinbach didn't have more than 3 infield hits in his whole career, I can guarantee you. But there is one, and Oakland leads 1-0. Willie Wilson stands in there. He hit .270 in 1992. And this one's lifted to center field where Kenny Lofton is going to find a home for it in his hip pocket. And that is 1 out. As 1 inning in the books for Oakland, they have scored 1 on 2 hits, and they left them loaded. We go to the bottom of the first. It's 1-0 Oakland. And Cleveland coming to bat. Kenny Lofton, the center fielder, and some think Hall of Famer, stepping to the plate. Let's see if I can adjust this just a notch, and I can't. Let's see what I can do. No, I can't. Well, that's the best we can do. All right, Lofton. Into in the air to right field. Ruben Sierra happily is going to take this one, and that's 1 down in the bottom of the first. Omar Vizquel. Another guy that they think might be a Hall of Famer. This one's hit in the air to right. Here comes Sierra again. He's coming in a few steps, but he's got it for out number 2. And Carlos Baerga, the hard-hitting second baseman for these Indians. And he just did what I said he was. He's a hard hitter. That one is lined to left field. It's going to get in the gap and split Willie Wilson and Ricky Henderson. And there are not great throwing arms between either one of them. And so Baerga is going to take second. And he's in scoring position for Albert Bell. Ready to give a forearm shiver at a moment's notice. He is at the plate facing Darling. 2 outs. And that's ball 4. Bell has a walk, and that's going to bring Eddie Murray to the plate. Eddie is a .323 hitter in 1995. But not this time. Hitting the air to center field, and that's going to be Willie Wilson with plenty of room, and that will retire the Indians in the first. We go to the second. It's Oakland 1, Cleveland nothing at the Jake. Carney Lansford leads off now against Ken Hill. Pitch to Carney. Batting 8th today for Oakland. Hits a ground ball to second. That's Baerga. Baerga throws to Sorrento, and we got one down in the top of the second. Mike Bordick standing in there. He hit .300 with an on-base percentage of .358 in 1992. And that one is strike 3 called. Bordick takes it looking, and that's 2 down quickly for Oakland. And Ricky Henderson, owner of a .426 on-base average in 1992, he strikes out for the second time in this game. That retires the Oakland Athletics 1-2-3 in the top of the second, but they own a 1-0 lead as Ron Darling and the A's defense take their positions for the bottom of the second inning. And I take a sip of water. You can see why I like this set so much, and not just because I designed it, but because the teams are even. You got all the big names, and a lot of fun to be had here, whether you're doing a season or a tournament, whatever you will. Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome, and Paul Sorrento lead off the bottom of the second. The pitch to Manny is a ground ball to shortstop. That's Bordick, who's throwing across to Mcgwire for 1 down. Jim Thome, just starting his young career, .314 average in 1995. That's a ground ball to second base, where the governor, Jerry Brown, has it, and he's going to throw to Mcgwire for 2 down. And Paul Sorrento, with 2 outs and nobody on, he swings, and he grounds one to Mcgwire, who will take it unassisted for a 1-2-3 second inning for Ron Darling. The mighty Indians lineup ain't so mighty so far. We've played 2, and it's 1-0 Oakland. Top of the third, it's the governor, Jerry Brown, Ruben Sierra, and Harold Baines stepping to the plate for Oakland. And if anybody gets on, it'll be Mark Mcgwire. Pitch to Brown is slapped to left. He goes the other way, but he's going to get aboard with a single. Brown's on, and Sierra comes to the plate. Ruben's 0 for 1. He flew out to Bell in the first inning. The pitch to Ruben is a line shot down the line at third base, but Lansford in his tracks grabs it for the out, and it's a good thing. Lansford. Thome in his tracks grabs it for the out, and it's a good thing because Jim did not have a lot of range at third base. Harold Baines with 1 out and 1 on. Harold singled in the first. The pitch to him is hit in the air to center field. It's high, but it's not deep. Lofton is there in plenty of time, and he will catch it when it comes down for out number 2. And with 2 outs and Jerry Brown still on first base, Mark Mcgwire stands in against Ken Hill, who has righted the ship pretty well since the first inning. And that's ball 2. Mcgwire takes ball 2 just as he did in the first inning. He's ahead 2 balls and no strikes. And now he hits a ground ball to third. This one is grabbed by Thome, and he's going to go across the diamond to Sorrento, and that will retire the Athletics in the top of the third. We go to the bottom of the third. It's Sandy Alomar Jr. at the bottom of their lineup. And then the top of the order, Lofton and Vizquel, to face Ron Darling. Near the end for Oakland, but a playoff-tested pitcher, and that's what they were looking for when they acquired him. Alomar hits one to left field, and Ricky is under it. He's going to make the catch for out number 1 in the bottom of the third. Kenny Lofton stands in. He's 0 for 1 today. Flew out to Sierra to lead off the Indians first. But not this time. Base hit to right field. He pulls a changeup, and that's a base hit for Lofton. Sierra's going to collect it and throw it into Brown. But Lofton's aboard with a single, and now they've got a choice to make about how they want to play this. Vizquel standing in the left-handed batter's box. The switch hitter bats lefty against Darling. And there goes Lofton. The pitch home is lifted in the air to center. No, it's not. It's not lifted in the air to center. It's hit on the ground. Sorry, third base. That is Lansford, who gloves it. And he's going to go across the diamond to retire Vizquel as Lofton advances to second on the hit and run. So with 2 outs, the Indians now have the tying run in scoring position for Baerga. First base is open. Bell is on deck. Carlos is 1 for 1 with a double back in the first. The pitch is a base hit, and that's going to be down the line. That's going to be down the line. No, I read that chart wrong. My bad. Ron Darling just walked Baerga. Sorry, walked Baerga. Now the Indians have men at first and second for Bell, which is not the scenario Tony La Russa and the Athletics want. Albert Bell in 1995 hit .317 with an on-base percentage of .401 and a .690 slugging percentage. That's Babe Ruth numbers. The pitch is hit on the ground to short. That's Bordick, who's going to flip to Brown for the force. And Darling gets himself into and then out of trouble in the third. We go to the top of the fourth, and it is Oakland 1, Cleveland nothing in Cleveland. We got a good one going here. We've had some missed opportunities by both teams, but we've got a good one cooking. For the Oakland Athletics in the top of the fourth, it'll be Terry Steinbach, Willie Wilson, and Carney Lansford. The first 3 men to bat against Ken Hill. Terry's 1 for 1. He drove in the only run of the ball game back in the first inning. And now Terry Steinbach singles to left. It's a base hit in front of Bell, and he's aboard with his second hit of the day. Willie Wilson stands in. Willie in 92 hit .270 with a .329 on base average. He is 0 for 1 on the day today. And he's got himself a base hit to right field. Steinbach is not a speedster. He will stop at second. Willie's at first, and Lansford's at the plate. We know that a strong tendency of Tony La Russa teams is to bunt when there's runners on first and second and nobody out. Let's see if Lansford employs that strategy. He squares, and he does not bunt it well. That one's going to be grabbed by Hill, and Hill's going to go to third, where Vizquel is covering, and they retire Steinbach on the fielder's choice. Willie Wilson moves up to second base. Bordick comes to the plate. So it's Wilson at second, Lansford at first, and now 1 out for Bordick, who is 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout. He wants to drive in the Oakland's second run. And this one's a ground ball to second. That's Baerga, Vizquel, Sorrento, double play that ends the inning. which would have been the whole point of getting the bunt down, but Lansford didn't do it. So we go to the bottom of the fourth, and it's still 1-0 A's. It'll be Murray, Ramirez, and Thome for the Indians coming to the plate. Pitch to Eddie. Hit in the air to center. Willie Wilson's going to go back a few steps, but he does have room, and that's going to be 1 down. Manny Ramirez stepping in. 86, fly ball center field. That's Willie Wilson again, and he's going to come in a step on this one and make the grab. 2 down, and Jim Thome, who is 0 for 1 today. Don't these cards look great? Thome is 0 for 1 today, and there's 2 outs with nobody on. And he lifts one in the air to center field. Willie Wilson is going to tie a record held by many as he makes all 3 putouts in the inning, and that retires the Indians in the fourth. We go to the fifth, and it's Oakland 1, Cleveland 0. Top of the Oakland order after the disaster that was the top of the fourth. Ricky Henderson is going to lead off. He'll be followed by Jerry Brown and then Ruben Sierra. Ricky's 0 for 2 with a couple of Ks on the ledger this evening. And this time, Ricky doesn't lose that number. He drives it to left field for a base hit that drops in front of a disinterested Albert Bell. And he's aboard. So Henderson is on. He is obviously a threat to go. Alomar Jr. is not a great arm. Jerry Brown is in. They could hit and run here. Let's see what they want to do. There goes Ricky. And Alomar, the throw down, he got him. Baerga applies the tag, and wow. Sandy Alomar Jr. shoots down. Ricky Henderson, there is now 1 out. Brown still at bat. He's been on twice today. He has scored the only run of the ball game. And this one is a comebacker that Ken Hill gloves. He's going to flip to Sorrento, and that's 2 down. And now Ruben Sierra stands in. Ruben hit .319 with a .380 on base average. He was acquired for Jose Canseco in the 1992 season. This one's hitting the air to Lofton, who's going to make the play in between running sprints between Albert Bell and Manny Ramirez in center field. That's how he stayed in good shape. We go to the bottom of the fifth, and it's 1-0 Oakland. Darling is coming out for his 5th inning of work. He will face Sorrento, Alomar, and Lofton in the bottom of the 5th. The pitch to Paul is taken, ball 4. And now LaRussa is starting to get a little bit nervous in the Oakland dugout. Sandy Alomar Jr. stands in. He was a .300 hitter and hit 9th for the 95 Indians. The pitch to him, he's 0 for 1 on the day. The pitch to Sandy is a grounder to second. That's Brown. Brown to Bordick. Bordick, the return throw, and he is taken out by Sorrento, and there is no return throw. Alomar Jr. is safe at first. There's 1 man out, and 1 man on for Kenny Lofton, the Indians center fielder, the man that makes their offense go. He had .310 in 1995 with a .362 on base average, 1 for 2 today. Kenny hits one in the air to left. That's going to be Ricky Henderson moving to his right, and he will make the catch for out number 2. And now Omar Vizquel, 0 for 2 today, and got on base at a .333 clip in 1995. This one is a strike 3 swinging, And that will retire the Indians in the 5th. Ron Darling doing a job on the mighty Indian offense with 5 shutout innings and counting. We go to the top of the 6th. Ken Hill ready to sue the offense for lack of support. It'll be Harold Baines, Mark Mcgwire, and Terry Steinbach coming to the plate for the Oakland Athletics. Pitch to Harold is lined on the line. Now Bell's going to have to go get it, and Harold's going to take second and have himself a leadoff double as Mark Mcgwire comes to the plate. Mark is 0 for 1 with a walk today, and in 1992 he hit .268 and slugged .585. Hill's going to be careful. The pitch to Mark is hit on the ground to third. Thome checks on Baines at second and throws across the diamond to Sorrento, and that is one out in the top of the 6th. Terry Steinbach comes to the plate now. He's 2 for 2 with the only RBI of the ball game. He'd love to pick up another one. Baines is on second, and the pitch is hit to left, and that's deep. That's way back there. Bell is going to make the catch on the warning track and throw it back in. Baines hustles back to second base, and Willie Wilson, who is 1 for 2 today, will come to the plate with the last gasp, maybe, for the Oakland A's in this inning to drive in Baines, who hit a leadoff double and is still at second base. The pitch is an error check. It's hit hard. And that's Thome. And Jim can't make the play. It's by him. That's going to score Baines from second because there are 2 outs. And Willie Wilson will be on first base with an error on the virtue of an error by third baseman Jim Thome, an unearned run for Oakland, but it counts here in the 6th. So Wilson's on first. Lansford is coming to the plate. He hit .262 in 1992 near the end of his career. It's 0 for 2 today for Carney, and Hill is in a jam. This one is driven. It's hit hard. We got another error check. And it's Lofton. Kenny drops the ball. What in the world's going on out there? Kenny Lofton drops the ball. It's an error on him, and Wilson goes all the way to third base. Lansford stops at first. There's men at the corners now for Bordick. Ken Hill, who didn't have much offensive support so far, now the gloves are coming undone. And there's 2 men on by errors with 2 outs. And Bordick at the plate, the 300 hitting middle infielder in 1992. Mike is 0 for 2 today. The pitch is blooped to center. It's a Texas leaguer. It falls in front of Lofton, and it's going to score Oakland's 3rd run of the game. It's 3-0 Oakland, and Bordick comes through with 2 outs for another unearned run, scored by the Athletics. Now there's men at first and second. Lansford with his bad knees stops at second base. Bordick is on first. There's 2 men out, and Ricky Henderson is at the plate. There's stirring in the Cleveland bullpen, but it's not really fair to Hill, who has deserved a better fate. The pitch to Ricky is strike 3, swinging on a Hill fastball, but the damage is done. 2 unearned runs in the top of the 6th as the Cleveland defense betrays them. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Darling is back out for the Athletics. He has not allowed any runs. It's 3-0 Oakland. And the meat of the Cleveland order is up. It's Carlos Baerga, Albert, Joey Bell, and Eddie Murray. There's one hit between them so far in this one. Baerga stands in. He's 1 for 1 with a walk. He doubled in the first and was stranded. And this one is an error check for Oakland. Baerga slams this one. And it's right back at Darling for the out. So he grabs it. And there's one down. Albert Bell stands in. 0 for 1 today with a walk. He'd love to get something started. And this one's deep. Way back. And Elvis just left the building. And so did this baseball. Albert Bell hit one out of here. And it is 3-1 Oakland. And Darling might be getting tired. LaRussa on the phone to the bullpen. Murray 0 for 2. Eddie hits a grounder to Mcgwire, who's going to flip to Darling for 2 outs. And now Manny Ramirez, who's 0 for 2 on the day, stands in. He had a .558 slugging percentage in 1995. We haven't seen it, though. It's 0 for 2 for Manny so far today. And this one's hit on the ground to Jerry Brown. 11 hops, and he throws to Mcgwire, and that'll retire the Indians in the 6th. But they do pick up one, and it's now a 3-1 ball game in favor of the visitors, the Oakland Athletics. Ken Hill's day is done. We're going to get a new pitcher. It's going to be Jerry Brown, Ruben Sierra, and Harold Baines leading this thing off in the 7th. And to do the pitching will be left-hander Jim Poole. Take you through a Pine Tar pitching card in just a minute. First, let's give you Hill's numbers on the day. Ken Hill, 6 innings, 8 hits. He walked 2. He struck out 4 batters. He allowed 3 runs, 1 was earned, and no home runs. And we're going to get Jim Poole now. You see down here on the card that he's got a maximum inning pitched of 1. He's an A-plus pitcher at home, which the Indians are right now, and you can see that he's got modifiers of strikeouts on 55 and 77. So Jim's on the mound. They're going to leave Jerry Brown in, even though you can also see on Jerry's card with the left-right splits that lefties were not his favorite to face, but they're going to leave him in there anyway. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored and a walk. The pitch to Jerry is a fly ball to right. This one's going to be taken by Manny Ramirez for out number 1, and that'll bring up Sierra. Ruben's 0 for 3 on the day. Ruben is a switch hitter. Pitch to him is a ground ball to third. That's taken by Thome, who throws across to Sorrento for the out. And now it's Harold Baines. Harold was a .253 hitter in 1992, but he has 2 hits today, and he scored a run last inning. And the pitch to him is hit in the air to center. Kenny Lofton's going to be in a few steps, and he'll make the play for out number 3. So Jim Poole comes on and pitches a 1-2-3 7th. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's time to stretch him out. And it's Oakland 3, Cleveland 1. in Cleveland at the Jake. Bottom third of the order facing Ron Darling. Right now, Jim Thome, Paul Sorrento, and Sandy Alomar Jr. No hits between any of those five gentlemen. Although Sorrento did draw a walk in the fifth. Thome, the pitch. He strikes out on a Darling curveball. Not a Darling curveball, but a Darling curveball. And that's one down in the seventh. Paul Sorrento, author of a .235 batting average, but he slugged .511 in 1995. And the pitch to Paul is lifted in the air to center. That's Willie Wilson coming in, and he'll make that play. 2 down, and Sandy Alomar Jr., 0 for 2 on the day. 2 outs, nobody on, and Darling just cruising. He has allowed only 3 hits in 6 2/3 innings of work. And this one is a ground ball to shortstop. That one's taken by Mike Bordick, who throws to Mcgwire and retires the Indians here in the 7th. We go to the 8th, and we got 6 outs to go for each team. And we're going to have a new pitcher for Cleveland. Jim Poole's great and everything, but they're not leaving a lefty in by choice to face Mark Mcgwire. So it's going to be Julian Tavares and he's going to sing to the beat of the rhythm of the night after the ball game. Mcgwire's 0 for 2 with a walk. You can see Tavares' numbers here. His card, he's an A at home. He's got a strikeout modifier of 77, and he can go 2 if they want him to. Mcgwire stands in 0 for 2, and this one is a range check. It's a range check, and a 55 on a range check is for center field, and that's Kenny Lofton, and he ain't going to get there. It's a base hit for Big Mac, and he's aboard with Steinbach coming to the plate. Terry is 2 for 3. It is tempting to run for Mcgwire here. It's very tempting to run for Mcgwire here. But do they have any wheels on the bases? And not really is the answer. They got their wheels in the ballgame. So they're going to leave Mcgwire on first. Steinbach is up. His bunting rating is not good. As you can see here, sacrifice hit chance is a 9 out of 100. So Terry's going to be swinging away. Mcgwire takes his lead, if that's the term I'm looking for, at first base. And this one is hit on the ground to Baerga, who goes to Vizquel for 1, and Mcgwire is blocking out the sun at second base. So that's all they're going to get. Steinbach legs out the fielder's choice, and Willie Wilson is going to come to the plate. Willie's 1 for 3 with a run scored. Steinbach takes Mcgwire's place on the bases, and now Wilson stands in, trying to make some trouble for Julian Tavares and the beat of the rhythm of the night. This one is looped to right field in front of Ramirez, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Willie's got his second hit of the ball game, but he's got Terry Steinbach clogging the bases ahead of him. We'll see if that ends up being a problem. With 1 out, Steinbach on second, Wilson on first. He's 2 for 4 on the day now. Willie has had himself a good game and has made a bunch of catches in the outfield. Now Carney Lansford comes to the plate, having gagged a bunt in the 4th inning. He's 0 for 3, but he did reach on an error in the 6th. Pitch to Carney is a ground ball to first. That's gloved by Sorrento. Sorrento's going to Vizquel for 1, and that's all they'll get. Steinbach staggers his way to third base. Lansford is safe at first, and Willie Wilson's wheels broke up the potential double play. So with 2 outs, there's men at the corners, Steinbach at third, Lansford at first, and Mike Bordick coming to the plate, where he drove in a run in the 6th with a single. Mike's 1 for 3 on the day. He grounded into an inning-ending double play, but redeemed himself with an RBI single in the 6th. The pitch to Mike, he's plunked by a pitch. Tavares, not the most cool-headed fella you've ever seen on the mound. He just plunked Bordick, and the bases are now loaded for Ricky Henderson. Do the Indians want to make a change here? No, they're going to leave him in. Tavares is going to be given a chance by manager Mike Hargrove to work his way out of it. The bases are loaded. There's 2 men outs. Steinbach at third, Lansford at second, and Bordick at first. Not exactly a track meet on the bases. The pitch to Ricky, and he's strike 3. Swinging Ricky Henderson has struck out for the 4th time. That, my friends, is the golden sombrero. We go to the bottom of the 8th, where Ron Darling is coming out for another inning, and even his mom didn't see that one coming. Top of the order for Cleveland. As soon as I flip the card, it's going to be Kenny Lofton, Omar Vizquel, and Carlos Baerga. The Indians have not looked good against Darling. They've only had 3 hits, but they are only 2 runs down, so Lofton's looking to get aboard, and maybe someone can hit a long one. Kenny's 1 for 3 today. The pitch. And he walks. He's on board, and that could do it for Darling. Let's see what Oakland's got in the bullpen. Vizquel is due. Baerga is up next, and it's going to be Jeff Russell. Jeff Russell is on to relieve Ron Darling. Jeff Russell, we'll take a look at his card, but first I want to give you Darling's line on the evening. Ron Darling pitched 7+ innings. He allowed 3 hits. He walked 4 men. He struck out 2 and allowed 1 run. It was earned so far. It was a home run. Omar Vizquel stands in. He is the tying run at the plate. Jeff Russell's card looks like this. He is an A pitcher on the road. He does not have any modifiers, but he can pitch a maximum of 1 inning, and you see here that he pitched 59 games between his work for Texas and Oakland in 1992. He was part of the Canseco/Sierra trade, I do believe. Vizquel stands in. Not a great night tonight for Omar. 0 for 3 today with the strikeout. He's looking to get on anyway at all. Lofton. They could send Kenny, but they're not going to. Pitch to Omar. Grounder to short. Juggled by Bordick. He's going to make the throw to first and retire Vizquel as Lofton moves up and gets himself into scoring position for Carlos Baerga. So with 1 out, Lofton is in scoring position, and Jeff Russell's situation got a little bit more delicate. Baerga's 1 for 2 today with a double and a walk. Albert Bell is on deck, and first base is open. And this one is a grounder to Brown. Jerry is going to throw to Mcgwire for the out, but Lofton moves over to third base. Now, the tying run comes to the plate in the form of Albert, Don't Call Me Joey Bell, and he hit a home run in the sixth to get the Indians on the board. He'd love to do it again, but the Oakland options are few. They've got Eddie Murray on deck. I'm not sure you walk Albert Bell to pitch to Eddie Murray under any circumstances, especially when Murray represents the go-ahead run. So they're going to pitch to Bell and see how this goes. Russell, with 2 outs, looking to get out of this jam. The pitch. Ground ball second. That's Jerry Brown. Brown to Mcgwire, and Oakland gets out of the inning. Wow. We go to the ninth. And it's Oakland 3, Cleveland 1. Great game. These are tough, competitive games. Tournaments, leagues, seasons, however you want to set it up. These teams of the 90s play for keeps, and this is a good matchup from this set, available at ttlbaseballgame.com. Okay, so top of the ninth, Jerry Brown, Ruben Sierra, Harold Baines. Julian Tavares is still in, and he's still looking for the beat of the rhythm of the night. Jerry Brown strikes out, swinging on a Tavares splitter. That's 1 down. And Ruben Sierra comes up. Ruben's 0 for 4 on the day. The pitch to Ruben is lifted in the... Oh, I'm sorry. He strikes out. He strikes out Sierra. Tavares has struck out the last 3 men he has faced, and now it's Harold Baines. Baines is 2 for 4 with a run scored. A big run scored, the leading run scored, back in the 6th. Pitch to Harold is a line drive, base hit, right field. He pulls it, and Harold's got himself a 3-hit evening. He's the designated hitter, and Mark Mcgwire is coming to the plate. I'm going to leave Tavares in there. 1 for 3 with a walk on the evening for Mcgwire. And he strikes out swinging on a Tavares breaking ball, and that will retire the A's in the 9th. The last 4 outs were all strikeouts for Tavares, and now the A's are going to look for gloves on their bench and see if there's anybody that they can bring in. And there's really not, to make things any better. Yeah, there's not. So they're going to stand pat with what they got, but they do have the closer of the 80s, and I would argue the closer... Would I argue that? Yeah, I think I'd argue he's the closer of the 90s. Dennis Eckersley is coming on for Oakland to pitch the 9th inning in this save situation. It's Oakland 3, Cleveland 1. Jeff Russell pitched a perfect 8th inning, 3 up, 3 down after he got in there, after Darling gave up the leadoff walk to Kenny Lofton. 1 perfect inning, no walks, no strikeouts, no hits, no runs, no homers for Russell. He is the setup man this evening for Eckersley. Eckersley, as you can see, has an amazing card. He's an A-plus pitcher on the road. He has strikeout modifiers of 55 to 60 and 77, and he can go a maximum of 1 inning pitched. He pitched a lot in 1992, 69 appearances for Tony La Russa's A's. All right, so we got Eddie Murray, Manny Ramirez, and Jim Thome. It's not going to be easy, but these 3 gentlemen are a collective 0 for 9 on the evening. So we'll see how this works out. Murray leads off. He had a .375 on base average in 1995. Eddie against Eckersley lifts one to right. He pulls it, Sierra running over by the line, and he's going to make the play in fair territory for 1 out. 1 out in the 9th, and Manny Ramirez comes to the plate. Manny's on-base average was .402 in 1995, just starting his amazing career. And Manny hits a ground ball to third. This one's gloved by Lansford, who's going to throw to Mcgwire for the 2nd out. And that's going to leave keeping this thing going up to Jim Thome. Jim Thome's on-base average was .438, but he's 0 for 3 today with a strikeout. He's up there against Eckersley, who's 1 out from recording the save. This one's lifted in the air to right. Ruben Sierra is back to the track, but he does have room. He will make the play, and the Oakland A's have come to the Jake and defeated the 1995 Cleveland Indians by a score of 3-1. The winning pitcher is Ron Darling. Not Ron Darling. It's Ron Darling. And the losing pitcher is Ken Hill, although he deserved a better fate, with 2 unearned runs on to his discredit, I guess. The save goes to Eckersley. The line score for the victorious 1992 Oakland A's, 3 runs on 8, 10, 11 hits. They could have actually scored more. They could have done more damage. And there are no errors on their ledger. For the defeated, the vanquished 1995 Cleveland Indians, it's 1 run on 3 hits, and they committed 2 ghastly errors, both of which directly led to runs. So the defense, the 95 Indians were sluggers, but sometimes the defense, not so good. Reminding you again that the set where these cards are available, the game that we're using, the sim engine, is called Pine Tar Baseball. And the website for Pine Tar Baseball is ttlbaseballgame.com. These are the teams available for the 1990s Teams of the 90s set. The 92 Athletics, the 92 Braves, the 92 Pirates, the 93 Tigers, the 94 Expos, the 94 Yankees, the 95 Indians, the 93 White Sox, the 98 Cubs, and the 99 Mets. The 10 teams available now at ttlbaseballgame.com. I thank you so much for joining me for this one. Good ball game tonight. 92 Oakland 3, 95 Indians 1. Thank you for joining me. Please click like and subscribe to my channel. And join me again soon for more Pine Tar Baseball. My name's Kurt Berglund. So long, everybody.